Behind me, 2014 Ford Escape, the 1.6 liter. We're gonna be replacing the Serpentine belt and tensioner. Let's get started. So underneath, to get our skid plate off, we have a series of T30s, and then in the back, way back here, I have one 10mm bolt. And this whole plate will drop down and out of the way. With the skid plate out of the way, now we have access to our belt and we can see our tensioner. Now we can't pull the tensioner out from underneath. We have to do that from up top, but we do want to get the belt off. You can see I have my wrench there. That is a 17mm. We want to put that on the tensioner and pull it towards ourselves. That'll move the tensioner counterclockwise. Then we can get the belt off. I might not be able to show you. So here it is, and then we just kind of pull towards and it loosens the belt, but I have to do it two-handed, so I have to put the camera down for this part. Once we get the belt off, we can go up top and start pulling stuff off up there. Okay, so I got the belt off. We'll just pull that all the way out. Now we can't get the belt all the way out because of the way it's routed around the tensioner, but we can at least just get it loose and hanging here. There. Now let's go up top. Believe it or not, the belt tensioner comes off from up top. We want to remove our reservoir. We got this little hose here, and it's just locked into a few spots. Pull those spots off, just so this is nice and loose. And in fact, we might even be able to just undo it here, even though the manual doesn't say. I'd really hate to break this little line here. And then it comes up off of this right here, and there should be one in the back as well that it comes off of. We just lift this thing up and out. So let me set you up and then I'll get this box out. All right, so it should be able to just come off of that little thing just like that. And I don't know that this really has to come out too far. Just getting access to a few bolts. Oh, there we just spilt. That's what I was wondering. Okay, well, let's put these back in. Forget that. Okay, let's just get this out of the way enough. Okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna bungee this just out of the way like that. Then I can show you back behind here with the camera. Okay, so we should be able to just bungee that to here. There, good enough. Let me show you around. Okay, so we have these nuts here on top. There should be 3 of them. And then these bolts on the side. There's one here. And then right under this is another one. So it looks like maybe an 8mm right here. Pulls this little thing off. And then this can move out of the way just enough. And there's another bolt underneath it. Let me get those sizes. They look like a 17mm, but let me double check. Okay, I was way off. These top ones are an 18. And then these 2 bottom ones are a 15. So 15mm for the bolts, 18mm for the nuts. Let me pull this off real quick and see if that gives us the room we need. All right, hopefully it'll just, there we go. There, perfect. Now it is connected with a connector in the back, so don't pull too hard. We just want to disconnect that. There, and then it just comes out of the way. So right here's a connector, and it's just a pinch and pull. All right, that gives us access to everything. Before we undo any of the bolts, we're gonna go underneath with a jack to support the engine. All right, so this is where I have the jack. Got a block of wood in between just to protect the pan. But you want it kind of in the front of the engine, but not too much in the front, just in case we need to do some more work over here. So back just a little, but more towards the front. And that'll just hold it in place while we pull off our engine mount. I can get to these front ones fairly easy with my impact. There we go. Back one is just in the way a little too much. Just have a longer extension for these. Again, I can get the front one pretty easy, but that back one I have to use a ratchet. All right, got my bolt. Let's get it real quick. There we go. Okay, 2 more to go. Got this top one. Okay. There we go. Not too bad. Sure, all this stuff's in your way. The rest of the way with my electric ratchet. Okay, with the engine settled a little, I'll pull off that last one. Figure out how to get in there. All right, using a 6-inch extension and a deep socket. Let me trade you positions. Come around here. Okay, here we go. Got it. All right, finish that off. All right, and this little bracket where this black thing was on, that comes off with it. That's it. This whole thing will come up and out of our way. Let me zoom you in and I'll show you our tensioner bolts. All right, right there, those 2 bolts, that's our tensioner. So all we have to do is loosen those, take those out, and our tensioner and belt will come out together. Let's do it. All right, pretend you can see what I'm doing. Just removing those 2 bolts. I'm using a 13 mil shallow. Maybe not. Our ratchet won't fit. So let's jack the engine up just a smidge because it did drop some, and now those bolts are hitting the frame. I can't get my ratchet in. We're just gonna go up just a smidge. Yeah, it doesn't take much, and it doesn't actually allow you to do much, but I just want to clear that frame. Okay, here we go. Ugh. There, got one. Be careful backing out too much because I still think my ratchet's gonna get stuck there. Don't have any shallower. My ratchet is just a little too big for that back one. I'm gonna try a 1/4 inch. So that fits on really nicely. I don't think I'll have the leverage break it loose. All right, so I'm gonna try the old leverage trick. I'm gonna have this on it because it fits perfectly. Maybe your 3/8 tools will fit better than my 3/8 tools. I'm not sure. But then we have this. It's gonna go over. That's gonna give me that extra room for breaking it. There we go. Made easy work out of it. These almost feel like they may have Loctite on them. If they do, we'll reinstall Loctite when we put it all back together. These things are like a mile long. Holy cow. Okay, so I got to a certain point where this no longer works, so I'm gonna get a ratcheting wrench. So 13 mil ratcheting wrench, finish these off. All right, there's one. And the second one is struggling. All right, got number 2. And then this whole thing should come out. So slide it to the back of the engine. There we go, so slide it to the back of the engine. It fits right through there, nice and easy. Belt comes out with it. Phew, it is hot today. So we got the old one out. We're halfway there. What we want to do is take the new one, match them up, make sure they're the same, and then get our new belt started on that pulley and slide it all in. Because I spilled a little bit of coolant, I'm going to wash it down real quick first so I don't get coolant on the new belt. All right, got them lined up. They are the same. Everything looks good. Now when we put it in, we want to make sure that it goes in this way. We don't accidentally have it turned around. So it goes in this way, and then the belt gets started on the pulley just like that, and we'll slide everything in together. Let's hop to the vehicle. All right, back to pretending you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just sliding this in, got the belt on, going around the back of the engine. Okay, good. Making sure the belt drops down all the way so it doesn't bunch up on me. All right, excellent. Then we gotta put in our bolts. Now these does not have Loctite on them like I thought they did, so we don't need to put Loctite back. Feed in that back bolt first, perfect. And then feed in this front bolt. Okay, just like that. Now I need to find their little holes. Hey, kind of fell right in place. Can't complain about that, sweet. I'm just gonna use the ratcheting wrench, put it back on. Let me zoom you in for good measure, just so you can see how it looks. There we go, so that's the new one in. I don't have the bolts tight yet, still using that ratcheting wrench, but it kind of just all fell into place. I put that bottom bolt or that back bolt, let's see right there. Put that one in first and then put that one in. So that's it, not much to it. I'm just gonna ratchet them tight and then I'm gonna see if I can get a torque wrench in there. I'll give you a torque spec anyway when it comes time for that, but we may not be able to get a wrench on there, but we'll see. Okay, these are 35 foot-pounds. Let me see if my torque wrench will fit. Okay, kind of like I thought. It fits on this front one, so let me get that first. Okay, let me try to get the back one, but I don't know if I can. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me get a little pry bar and see if I can push the engine over just a smidge, enough to get my socket on. We're not talking crazy, just like a 1/4 inch. It's just about all we need. So hopefully, let me see. No, not really. Here, maybe like that. That's a better angle. Okay, yeah, that was the ticket. So I just pried in a little different angle and it got the engine to come up just a smidge. Okay, let's get this one tightened. You can see the whole engine kind of move as I move the ratchet. All right, nice. I don't have to get this, do that again to get it off. There we go. Nice, so you can torque it, 35 foot-pounds. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt on now before putting the engine mount on because I think it gives me a little better access to some of these pulleys from up here, like the alternator. You can put it on later if that's easier for you, but I'm just gonna do it real quick, then we can put the engine mount on. All right, we got our belt on and you can see right here, it is still loose. That's because our tensioner has a lock pin. So right here, that little L shape, that's a lock pin. We want to pop that out, and then our tensioner will tighten. So from underneath, put your 17 mil back on, release a little tension, and then you can pull that lock pin out. And that's it, belt is routed. All right, here we go. We're just gonna put our engine mount on, just like that. Okay. We're just gonna put a couple nuts. What we wanna do before we tighten these all the way down is put a little Loctite on our studs. These are lock washers, so technically they're a one-time use, but if you use Loctite, then that takes place of this little washer. We'll just put it on like that, just to get it started. We'll do that to all of them, just to get them started. All right, now these front ones, gonna suck them down a little. All right, back one, we're just gonna suck it up as much as my little tool can. All right, I'm surprised that was a little more than I thought it could do. Okay, now we have to move the engine over just a smidge to put in our 2 bolts. Let me show you real quick what we're dealing with. Hopefully you can see right there, our bolt holes don't line up. And then same thing in the back. So the whole engine, what we're gonna have to do is just push it just a smidge to get those holes to line up. There we go, just my hand, just grabbing onto it with my hand was enough just to slide it forward a little. Okay, yeah, perfect. So we'll get this front one in. And this back one has the bracket. Just gonna twist the motor mount just a little. There we go. Nice. I'll suck these down. All right, now I'm gonna back off one of these nuts again. Doesn't matter which one. I'm gonna apply a little bit of Loctite to the stud, and then I'll show you. Okay, we're just using blue Loctite. Let me zoom you in. Because we have all our nuts sucked down, it exposed our studs quite a bit. So now you can just put a little blue Loctite on your stud. We'll put that one back in, and then we'll pull off another one, put blue Loctite on it, put it back on, and then take off our last one and do the same thing. Now these bolts are not lock bolts on either side, so we don't have to worry about that. Just these nuts get a little Loctite. All right, our 3 nuts are torqued to 59 foot-pounds. I'm gonna do the middle first. I'll do that back end, and this front one. All right, and our 2 bolts are 66 foot-pounds. There's one, get a different extension. All right, that's it. We are torqued down. Put this one back there. Make sure we plug it in. Not sure what kind of code we'll get if we leave it unplugged, but let's not do that. Okay, heard it click. Great, drop that down. Put a little bolt in, just snug. All right, and this bad boy, lay it back down, just like that. And it goes back in its little groove holders. Perfect. Get our little hose or line here. Put that where it needs to go, like that. Okay. By golly, I believe that is it. Let's go ahead and start it up, make sure the belt is tracking, and we are complete. All right, looks good. All right, there you go. That's how you can replace the belt and tensioner on your Ford Escape. This is the 1.6 liter. To get the belt off, it's trapped behind the tensioner, so you have to at least pull the tensioner out just a little to get that belt away. But if you're gonna go that far, you might as well just replace the tensioner. All right, thanks for watching. I'll have links in the description for parts and tools for this repair. If this has been helpful, hit the like button, maybe subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.